In this week's Talking About Orks is a very, very dark day, because today we talk about the Stompa, the coolest, biggest model, plastic. I think it's one of the biggest plastic models GW makes, and it's just so bad on the table. Let's talk about it. So it has it's 46 power level. Just on the other page, the Wazbomb Blaster Jet is 8 power level. So would I rather have 6 Wazbombs or a Stompa? I don't think there's any question. There is no question that 6 Wazbombs is going to be way better than 1 Stompa. And it's about the same points cost, actually. So his movement is from 12 to 4. So it goes 31 to 40. So it loses a tier as soon as it goes down. As soon as it takes 10 wounds, it goes down a tier. That's ridiculous to start with. The tier 2 should start at half. Just like everything else in the game, tier 2 should start at half, not 25%. So just right at the beginning, before you get to anything else, the Stompa's already taken a major hit compared to every other big vehicle in the game because of the damage table, which starts at 25%, not 50%. Like every knight, every other big unit in the game. It just angers me. Something just that simple. Why is it remaining wounds should be 21 to 40 plus, gets its full tier, and then it drops down after that. But no. As soon as it loses 25% of its wounds, it's already dropped down a tier. So movement is 12, 9, 6, 4. Weapon skill 3, 4, 5, 6. Ballistic skill 5. It is kind of nice it doesn't lose ballistic skill. Strength 10. It is kind of nice it doesn't lose strength. Toughness 8, 40 wounds. Attacks are 6, 5, 4, 3. Leadership 8 and a 3+ save. Stompa is a single model equipped with a def cannon, super gatler, 3 big shooters, a twin big shooter. So that's a total of, well, math escapes me. 21 big shooter shots. 3 super rockets, a Scorcha, and a mega chopper. And this comes in about 950-ish points. We'll just call it that. I don't remember the exact point total. It doesn't really matter. So it has a def cannon, is 72-inch range, heavy 3d6, strength 10, -4 d6 damage. Yeah, it's the d6 stuff. It just makes it horrible. And the Super Gatler is 48-inch range, heavy 3d6 again, strength 7, -2, 1 damage, and can shoot twice a turn on a 2+. On a 1, you can't ever shoot it again, so you do want to save your command reroll for that. And if you really feel lucky, on a 5+, you can shoot a 3rd time in the face. Yeah, it's probably not worth it. And it's got, it comes with how many? 3 super rockets, and you can make 2 more super rockets. At least they're free. Super rockets are still 0, so that's not worth, so it's always worth taking. But super rockets are heavy d6, strength 8, -3 d6 damage, and can only be fired once per turn. Each one can only be fired once per battle, and it can only fire once each turn. Whereas before, you could fire all your super rockets on the first turn. There's no reason for that restriction. It's another just stupid rule. Anyway, so Psycho Deca Blaster Jets for the Gatling. Basically the same rule it's always had. Bigger and stompier, this model can fall back in the movement phase, still shoot and/or charge, and it can move over infantry and swarm models. Stompa Rigor Crew, this model's got Rigors can attempt to repair at the end of your movement phase. If they do on a 2+, it gains D3 mortal wounds. Can only be repaired once per turn, so you can do that. Or you can do a mech. You can't do both. Effigy, you can reroll morale tests for friendly Ork units. I don't know why it's only a reroll and not just auto pass like before. And on reduced to 0 wounds, on a 6 it explodes, and each model within 2d6 inches suffers d6 mortal wounds. And this model can transport 20 models. And it is Titanic. So what are the Stompa's problems? Too many to list. First and foremost, lack of a built-in invul save, whereas knights have a 4 or 5 up invul save. This doesn't have anything unless you have a force field nearby. Just the d6 shots, I mean 3d6 shots, I mean on the average is going to be 10. Whereas a knight's Gatling is always 12 shots. And it's more damage because it's 2 damage per shot. It's only strength 6. It's strength 6 minus 2, 2 damage for a Gatling gun on the knights. And in 12 shots. This is 3d6, strength 7 minus 2, 1 damage. Yeah, I can shoot twice, but it's almost makes up for it because of the lack of damage. The main gun, you know, strength 10 minus 4 d6 sounds pretty good, but you know, not with that number of shots. I mean, you're still only talking 2 or 3 hits, 2 to 4 hits per turn. And the Mega Chopper's goal, I mean, is melee. You can use strength times 2, which would be strength 20, which sounds really awesome. At minus 5 and 6 flat damage. So that's actually really good if you know on the big one. But it's still, but again, it has to be its top tier to be any good. That's 6 attacks at 3+. And its top tier is almost never going to get to do anything at its top tier because it doesn't take very many wounds for it to get below its top tier. Because they know just moving down to just 1 tier, now you're hitting on 4+ with 5 attacks. That's going to be, you know, 2.5 hits per turn. It's just not worth it. Or you can do melee strength user, which is still strength 10. It's kind of nice. Minus 2 damage, d3 damage, and make 3 rolls for each attack. So, you know, I can't see a single situation where I would take a Stompa over a Gorkanaut. To be honest, the Gorkanaut's going to have way more reliable shooting. And it's going to be, you know, a third the price. Does basically the same damage output in close combat. So the Gorkanauts are way better. I would take 3 Gorkanauts over a Stompa without hesitation. And it's more wounds on top of it. So the Stompa's bad. I mean, it is really, really bad. And I just think GW is afraid to do anything about it because I want the Stompa to be really good. I want it to be worth 2.5 knights in damage output. And I don't know how to get there, to be honest. I mean, at its price level, I mean, it's worse than a Gorkanaut, which is 300 points. So, but with, you know, like twice as many wounds. So maybe 400. In its current form, the Stompa isn't worth more than 400 points, in my opinion. Maybe 500 if you're lucky when you add in the extra gun, extra big gun, the Def Cannon. Maybe 500 at most. So basically, the Stompa needs to be have its price cut in half and have a built-in force field for itself for 500 points. Then it would probably be playable. Again, a 5-up where it has its own 5-up invul save for against shooting only, just like a knight, and 500 points, keep everything else the same, it might be playable. Or just increase the number of shots dramatically. I mean, the Def Cannon, instead of heavy D3, used to be like heavy 20. The Super Gatler, instead of heavy D6, should just be flat out like 16 shots. Something like that might make it useful. And just increase the number of attacks by like 2. So instead of 6, 5, 4, 3, go 8, 7, 6, 5. And the weapon skill, instead of 3, 4, 5, 6, you go 2, 3, 4. And again, and of course, get rid of the 4-tier damage table. It needs to be 21 to 40, should be top tier. Then 11, and then the next tier down would be like 6 to 20, and the last tier would be 1 to 5. That would put it on par with a knight as far as the damage table goes. There's absolutely no redeeming redemption for the Stompa on the tabletop. I mean, the model is fantastic. It looks great. It's intimidating, and then when someone plays against it, just realize how badly it sucks for 1,000 points. I mean, literally in a game, that's half your army in one model that does almost nothing. I don't know what to say. The Stompa is horrible. GW is never going to fix it, because to fix it, they're going to have to make it look on paper just be silly. I mean, this thing at 500 points sounds silly, but compared to a 400-point Castellan, there's no comparison. Castellan is so much better in every single conceivable way, except that it has like 16 less wounds or 12 less wounds, which doesn't matter really that much when you're already suffering damage after just 10 wounds. Which, you can almost do that with just bolters, Mass bolter fire would probably do the 10 wounds to it, plinking one off at a time here and there. Because you don't even need heavy weapons to make this thing suck. So, I played a Stompa. Again, it's fun to play. It looks cool. It's a great model. And the kit, I mean, the kit is cheap for some reason. It's like $10 more than a Gorkanaut model for like 3 times as much plastic. But anyway, that's because it comes from a different age and hasn't changed its price, I don't think. But yeah, there's just no redeeming value whatsoever, which is just too bad. We've got one of the coolest models in the entire game, and it's just regulated to the shelf because it's just, you just can't play it with any and have any fun with it, because it's just going to get blown up before it does literally anything. And it's just really sad. So what do you think about a 500-point Stompa? Or maybe 1,000 points and just give it everything it needs. Just a stupid number of shots. Because again, if a Castellan had like 50 shots, it's hitting on 2s or 3s, whatever it is, that would be stupid. But when you're talking 50 shots and you're hitting on a 5+, yeah, well now, it's not going to do a whole lot. Still, you need that number of shots just to do anything at all. So let me hear your Stompa stories in the comments below. I really want the Stompa to be good. GW is never going to make it good because that would require way too much work. But I think if this thing was like 500 points, literally half the points is what it needs to be even close to a viable tabletop model. 500 points, and put it in the command detachment so it can actually take advantage of the clan traits. Oh, that's one thing. Almost forgot to mention. The Stompa is actually excluded from clan traits unless you take it in the Supreme Command detachment. If you take it in a super heavy auxiliary detachment, you don't get clan traits. You don't get a culture. It's very specific in the rule, in the codex, except for the super heavy auxiliary detachment. You cannot get a culture if you take that. It has to be in the Supreme Command detachment. So there's yet another knock on the Stompa. You can't just add a Stompa and get a culture for it. It'd be really nice. A freebooted Stompa hitting on a 4+ might actually be kind of fun. But no, you can't even do it unless you take a different detachment, which is hard to take in the Orks because you don't need that many HQs. Yeah, so it just pisses me off how really bad, how absolutely horrendously bad this model is. And it shouldn't. It should be the keystone of a lot of Ork army builds. I mean, you can build around, if it was 500 points, you could easily build around it and have a decent build, decent competitive list based off these on a Stompa, maybe even 2. At 500 points, 2 Stompas, taking half your army, might not be a bad thing. That might actually be a viable list, because that is a lot of wounds to chew through. And the thing is, the ballista skill doesn't degrade. So whatever, if you do, no matter how many wounds left, it's still going to be shooting at its full effectiveness. That isn't very effective. But I think at 500 points, it wouldn't matter. I think it would be effective enough at 500 points where you could actually run 2 of these and still, and that would basically be the equivalent of doubling the number of shots it has, right? If the price is half You take 2 of them for the same price you have now, and so, or you could keep it at the same price and double the number of shots it has. But then you have to, it's not, 2 is better than 1 for sure. Yeah, two models, because then if you degrade 1 over the course of a shooting, the other one's still going to be at full wounds. But again, since the ballistic skill doesn't degrade, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think having the price, 500 points, is what the Stompa needs. That's how bad it is. It is literally double the price of what it should be. Anyway, this has been a very long video. It's a very sad and depressing video. And every time I think about the Stompa, I just get agitated because that's just how bad it is. So again, let me know what you think of the Stompa below. And thanks for watching. Thank you for watching this episode of Talking About Orks. Please subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications for new Talking About Orks videos every Wednesday, new battle reports every Friday, and hobby videos whenever I can. Thanks for watching.